Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired chef from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest bread video. In this one I'll be making these fantastic jam or jelly donuts depending on where you live. And if you're wondering why I said bread video, donuts are basically made from a sweet bread dough. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on my website. I'll leave links at the end and under the video, or just click on the eye icon top right of the screen. Before I go any further, I'd like to give a quick shout out to this week's Patreon and PayPal donators, and they are Benson Agapito, Jennifer Agapito, Elad Shamir, Rebecca, Alan Hardgreaves, and finally Johnny Nick Patronus. And once again, please consider supporting my Patreon appeal for as little as $2 per month, or if you prefer, you can make a one-off small donation using my PayPal page. It really does go a long way towards ingredients and production costs, as every penny pledged goes back into my videos. And whether you've donated or not, thanks again for your wonderful support in watching the channel. And with that out of the way, let's get on with making these delicious jelly or jam donuts. Right, first job is to set your yeast away. I have the lukewarm milk in the jug, and the temperature, as you can see, is approximately 40 degrees Celsius, that's 104 Fahrenheit. Now add your sugar to the milk and mix until it's dissolved. Now add 7 grams, that's 2 teaspoons of instant or active dried yeast. If you're using fresh yeast, it's 20 grams. Don't forget, you can view the full written recipe on the website. Just click the eye icon top right of the screen and that will take you straight to it. Now give that a good mix and set it aside until it starts to foam up a bit. And if your yeast is not foaming up after 10 minutes, it must be dead and it needs replacing. I'll be using my stand mixer to do mine, but you can knead this dough by hand too. Before starting, you'll need a greased bowl prepared to proof the dough in once it's mixed. I'm using about ½ teaspoon of vegetable oil to grease mine. Right, my yeast has been sitting for 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's alive, kicking and ready to go. In it goes into the bowl, followed closely by the 2 medium-sized beaten eggs. It's important that your eggs and butter are at room temperature and not straight from the fridge. And next to go in is that 55 grams or 2 ounces of my homemade soft butter. If you want to know how I make this butter, I'll leave a link in the description box, or just click on the eye icon top right of your screen. Before adding the flour to the bowl, I'll mix in the salt. You could just dump the whole lot into the machine if you want, but there is a slight chance the flour could fly out of the bowl once you start the machine up. So, for the sake of the video, I'm playing it safe. Okay, with the dough hook attached, I'll start the machine. Now I'll gradually but fairly quickly add the flour with a large spoon. Once the dough gets to this shaggy state, whether by hand or machine, it needs to be kneaded for 10 minutes. So I'll set the timer. And this is what it looks like after 7 minutes. And finally, after 10 minutes, your dough should be very smooth and slightly sticky, but not too sticky to handle. Time to get it out of the mixer bowl and give it a quick knead on the bench. And once that's done, I'll get it into the greased bowl, cover it and let it proof for at least 1 hour. This time may vary depending on the temperature of your kitchen. And to give you an idea, my kitchen is 23 Celsius today. That's about 74 Fahrenheit. As many of my regular viewers will know, I always cover the bowl with a shower cap when proofing dough. It's ideal for preventing the dough from drying out, and it's very quick and easy to use. And they're a lot cheaper than the professional proofing covers out there and do exactly the same job. I now have these in the website shop if you're interested in buying one. This way you're helping the channel grow and getting something tangible out of it too, as any profits that I do make always goes back into the videos. And there'll be a link in the description box, or just click the eye icon top right of your screen if you want one. Okay, time's up, and as you can see the dough has risen quite nicely. But like I said earlier, this may take a little longer depending on the temperature of your kitchen. Even if your dough rises quicker, it still needs at least 1 hour's proofing. This will make sure the finished donuts have the best taste, texture and structure. Now get it out of the bowl and onto the bench and start to knock it back. That simply means get all of the built up gas out of it. Now flour the bench, flatten the dough and start to roll it out. A little tip here, which most home bakers don't know. Rolling out bread dough is not the same as rolling out pastry. Bread dough tightens up and turns elastic when handled, so no matter how much you roll it, it'll try to spring back to its original shape. The secret is to roll it out in stages. Roll a little, then let it completely relax for 5 minutes before attempting to roll it again. Once it's relaxed, it'll let you move it a little bit more. You'll probably have to do this 3 to 4 times to get the correct thickness, which in this case is 12mm or ½ an inch. And there it is. After 4 attempts, I've reached the required thickness of 12mm. So expect to spend 15 to 20 minutes doing this part. And now I can start cutting out the shapes. I'm using this 75mm or 3-inch scone and pastry cutter. I'll get as many as I can out of this piece, then I'll have to collect the bits together, roll them up and get a couple more. And out of this batch of dough you should be able to get 12 good sized donuts, and the tray that I'm keeping them on is just lightly greased. Right, I'll cover those with a lightweight dry tea towel and I'll let them rest and proof for another 30 minutes before frying them off. Right, that 30 minutes is up and it's now time to do the cool part of this recipe, which is frying these beauties off. I'm using vegetable oil to cook mine, but use whatever oil you're used to. The temperature of the oil for this recipe is pretty important. It should be 160 degrees Celsius, that's 320 Fahrenheit. Once your oil is up to temperature, very carefully lower each donut into it. I'm doing batches of 4 in this pan. Make sure you don't overfill the pan with oil or it may overflow when the donuts are added. Now at this temperature they only take 2 minutes on each side. That'll give you the best texture on the inside and the best colour on the outside. And after the first 2 minutes, carefully turn them over using a couple of forks. And after a further 2 minutes, that's the first lot done. So I'll lift them out to a nearby paper towel lined baking tin. And that's a perfect colour for these donuts, nice golden brown and absolutely light as a feather. Right, I'll just let you watch while I quickly go through the rest of them. Okay, that's the last batch done. Don't forget to turn off the heat under the pan. Now I'll allow these to completely cool before injecting the jam/jelly. There's a couple of ways you can get the jam inside of the donuts. My first suggestion is to get yourself one of these flavour and marinade injectors. I'll have a link on the recipe page on the website for this particular one. And they are very cheap, about £2.40 UK. Or you can simply use a piping bag with a nozzle like this one. I'll demonstrate both ways in a moment. And obviously you'll need a jam that has no large bits of fruit or seeds in it that might block the needle or the nozzle. And I'm using this beautifully smooth Bramley preserve. Right, I'll start by injecting a couple with the syringe. If you slightly warm the jam, it makes it much easier to flow. Just don't have it boiling hot. Once you insert the needle, give it a little wiggle to form a cavity inside before pushing the plunger. And if you're using a piping bag with this nozzle, it'll help it along a little by inserting a small knife and give it a twist before squeezing in the jam. Now to give these the traditional sugar coating, I have half granulated and half caster sugar in the bowl with a little pinch of cinnamon and nutmeg, but that's entirely up to you, and simply give the donuts a good coating as shown. And that's about all there is to making these delicious jam/jelly donuts. Right, I wasn't allowed any chocolate muffins in the last video, but I will be trying one of these. And as you can see, it has a fantastic soft light texture on the inside, and this wonderful bramble preserve is perfectly positioned in the middle of the donut. And they taste absolutely divine. Much better than the dry, hard, powdery, mass-produced supermarket ones. I know these are a bit naughty, but we only have these 3 or 4 times a year, and they're great fun to make. So give them a try, be very careful when you're frying them off, and I'm sure you'll give them the big thumbs up too. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.